I am recording this short video to talk about the space of leadership. And many times we see this language being used, right? Leaders create a space for this. And it's very abstract. I want to clarify, what does it really mean, right? How do I create a space for results, for performance? What do I do differently to create more space? Or what might I be doing to reduce the space? Right? So I want to demystify this thing called space of leadership. And the reason is because I believe that most of the results and the real magical results really happen in this space that you create, or either you take away from your responsibility, from your commitment, from whatever that you have taken on as a leader. Right? So this is the space where real magic happen, where all performance and all results come from. And to give you an example, right? If I have many books here behind me, and if I open up any of these books, obviously I will start reading through what is written in black letters. But then what I don't see is there is a whole lot of white space on which the letters are actually written. Unless there is that white space, right? There is no possibility for anything to be written. There is no possibility for a book unless there is white space. But normally we don't notice that, right? So the meaning that the black words, the sentences, the paragraphs, and the chapters of a book has, or the value that a book has, is only because there is white space to support what is written or what the author wants to communicate. And without the white space, everything gets muddled, right? So imagine if there is no white space, if everything is black, then even if the same book is written, you will not be able to read it. And now imagine if the space is white or gray, but it's all muddy, right? It's all a chaos. It's chaotic. Even then, what is written will not be clearly visible, clearly digested by who is reading the book, and the value will be minimized of whatever the author is trying to say. And similarly, everything that we do in our day-to-day life as a leader when working with people, so there is a space which either gets created, and on which everything which we say, everything which we do either suddenly becomes valuable, magical, or it totally loses its value, right? And I'm sure we all have dealt with people who are saying the same things, but it sounds very different. It touches us in a very different manner. That is because the space of that the leader carries is very different. Right? So let's break it down, right? What do I mean when I say the white space of leadership? I think one simple analogy which I can give is to speaking and listening. Like, how much time or attention are you actually listening to somebody or speaking, right? So speaking is like the black words. Speaking is actions. Doing something is action. But listening, and even before listening, silence is the space. Without listening, there is no speaking possible. The value of speaking, the value of any communication is zero unless there is listening. Unless somebody is listening to you, your speaking has no value, right? So do you have that space so that others can listen to you? And unless you are listening, no matter what somebody is saying, it has no value, right? So the power really lies in the listening, not in the speaking. And this is a space. This is what we don't see. Because it's always hidden, right? So, and imagine that everything which you say is coming out from a place of deep silence. Right? So it's only silence which makes any music possible. It's only silence which makes any sound what the sound is. If there is a music or if there is a speech which is given to promote something, to share an idea or to inspire somebody, it's only possible in that space of silence. This is very important in leadership, especially in any creative endeavor, because we often say that ideas come to us. Leadership is a lot about thinking what others are not thinking, or doing what others are not doing, seeing what others are not doing. And all of this thinking, creative ideation is coming from a space. It cannot come from a constantly busy mind where you're constantly speaking. It only comes when you stop. And that's why we say, right, that the best ideas come to me. We don't say that the best ideas, like I somehow create or generate the best idea. Best ideas come to me. Or we also say we are most creative when we are in the shower. or when we are doing something else, not our regular job. And that's because when we are showering, when we are taking a shower, we actually have space. It's maybe one time during the day when we let our brains relax and we let our thoughts settle down. And that is why a lot of ideas come during that time, because now there is space for something else from the outside to come. There is space for listening, right? So I'm not constantly trying to fix a problem, constantly trying to devise a solution. And then I slow down, I relax, and that allows me the space to listen to what maybe somebody else is telling me, or what the surroundings around me, the data around me is trying to tell me. Right? So without stopping down, without slowing down, without creating that space, there is no listening possible, right? There is no new ideation, no creativity possible. So now, in terms of interpersonal relationships, it's so easy to get trapped into talking or trying to solve a problem or trying to get very task-oriented that we forget to ask ourselves that what is being said here which I'm not listening. Right? What is being expressed here? So somebody might be sharing something, but if you focus on the words, only the words, you will miss a whole lot of things, right? So it might be something very small in their tone of voice. It might be something in their body posture, which you can notice, but only when you really stop down and listen, right? Instead of thinking about the problem or the situation at hand, if you can listen, be in that moment, slow down and create that space so that you can receive the full person, not just the words which they are saying. If you are able to do so, you can listen not just to what people are saying, you can also listen to what matters to them. You can listen to if they are excited, if they are frustrated. You can listen to if they are happy, if they are angry, if they are sad. You can listen to that in your tone of voice. And what all of these emotions can tell you is what people care about. And different people care about different things. Right? That is why we feel different emotions. But it is all available to you. But unless you create the space, unless you create the listening by slowing down, you cannot listen to all of these signals which might be right in front of you. Right? So unless you allow the space for emotions, unless you ask yourself this question, right? What is being said that I am not listening? Could be the other way around as well, right? What do I need to say that I'm not saying? Right? Just asking yourself this question. What needs to be expressed that I'm not expressing? Creating your space, creating some space, slowing down can actually allow you to get really clear, get really connected with what is the direct path. Sometimes when we get too busy, when we get too lost, we can just beat around the bush without targeting the real, the heart of the matter, of the issue. What it normally does, it reduces our effectiveness. It wastes a lot of time. It wastes a lot of energy. And if you can really slow down and see what is needed to be said, what is needed to be done, you will see and you will identify those 1 or 2 or 3 clear actions which you must absolutely take. This might be making a request to somebody. Right? This might be asking somebody to do something for you. This will clear out all the procrastination. This will clear out all the beating around the bush. This will clear out all taking the side paths but avoiding the real issue. And once you are able to see clearly, which requires space, which requires silence and time, you can actually do a lot more. You can get a lot more done by working a lot less. Imagine you're trying to resolve a conflict and it has already been weeks that you're doing so. But now you created a space, you slow down, you really see what is the heart of the issue, and you go into a meeting and then in 1 hour, you have solved or you have created a breakthrough in the conflict which you have been struggling for weeks. Right? So, and imagine if that happens across teams, across organizations. And as a leader, it's your job, it's your responsibility to not just create space, first of all, for yourself to receive, to listen to those ideas, to everything which is being said, but you're not listening. But also then for your teams, for your people, do they have space in their life, in their day-to-day to listen to each other, like to tap into those signals? That signal might be from your customers. That signal might be from your investors, from your markets, or between each other. Right? When people work together, if they don't have space, they will just keep on working and it will only lead to burnout sooner or later. Instead, if you have space, that's what sometimes we call being in the flow, or athletes and sportspersons call it in the zone. It's the way athletes or sportspersons define this. I think being in the zone is a space where time slows down. They're doing what they're doing. They're very active and they're very present in their sports activity. But the whole thing feels like the time has slowed down, right? If somebody is playing baseball or cricket, they would see a big ball coming at them and they're being so present and that their performance goes up, right? And even after being in this space, you don't get tired. You don't get burned out or exhausted because you are so present. You have so much space under which to operate. You have let go of everything which is extra, which is not required right now. And allowing space always starts with giving space for yourself. And are you even aware? If you put your attention on yourself, are you even aware what are you feeling right now in your body? Right? Are you feeling stress? Are you feeling anxiety? Are you feeling excitement? Right? Unless you put your attention on yourself and really notice, what is it am I really feeling here? I'm going to talk to my boss and I'm feeling anxiety or I'm feeling nervousness. What is that trying to communicate that I'm not listening? Only by slowing down, I can center myself, I can balance myself, and then I can do whatever I need to do. Maybe I can take a very direct step, even in a difficult conversation, even in a tough situation, or if I have to, I can back out. Like I can back out and come back again later. But unless I have that space, I will just try to move forward without being prepared. And at best, I will only do a half job at whatever that I'm trying to achieve. And it will exhaust me, it will take more time, it will take more effort. And it has a huge cascading effect on everybody around you, especially if you are a leader, if you are a manager. So space always begins with space for yourself. And then only then you create space and you give others the space. Right? So without giving yourself the space, there is no possibility of giving somebody else or others or your team the space to flourish. And you can practice this. You can put your attention on your body, on what is happening, your thoughts, your feelings. And then you can put your attention on somebody else. Like really try to listen, really notice their body and sense like what is it that they are feeling. Are they excited? Are they nervous? Are they scared? Are they apprehensive? Are they reluctant? Can you listen to that and can you address that? If it is something which is stopping whatever you're trying to do, can you first of all put your attention there while also keeping your attention here and address that in that dynamic and create that space, unlock a lot of the places where energy gets lost or exhausted is when we don't address what is already there below the surface. Only by creating that space, you will be able to see what is below the surface, and then you will release all of that blocked energy, which creates a total new amount of teamwork, joy, relationships, stress-free environment, mental health and well-being. And people have fun, people laugh at work. You will feel it. You don't need to do a survey to see if people are happy or people are well. When you create that space, you will see it. You will feel it in your body. You will walk into a room and you will see that everybody is laughing, everybody is smiling. So this is what being in the zone or being in the flow means. Take it a step ahead, especially as a leader, right? Can you create a space for greatness? Can you create a space for possibilities? When we talk about optimism and pessimism, what is optimism? Optimism is only an open space for possibilities. And pessimism is a closed space. And I do not see any possibility that leads me to pessimistic behavior when I see or when there is a space for optimism. So take this idea, right? So if you're talking to somebody or if you're talking to your team, can you always be in the space for high performance? Can you always be in the space for greatness? Can you see your people as great, irrespective of the way they have behaved in the past? Even if somebody is underperforming, right? I'm sure you don't want them to be underperforming. Can you give them a space to flourish? Can you give them a space to show their greatness? And in your communication, do people feel that they have the space to flourish, to do their best work, to really be happy and feeling like they are making a difference in whatever that you're trying to do with your business, with your company? This is the creative use of space, right? You can choose and create a space for well-being. You can choose and create a space for ambition. You can choose and create a space for possibility, even when the whole world is going haywire. And you can choose and create a space for calmness, even when you are in chaos, even when you are dealing with big challenges. Space is yours to create, and it always starts with yourself. Unless you are calm, you cannot create a calm and energized team who deals with whatever it is that they are facing from a calm state of mind. but it's also your creative freedom to choose what space that you want to create. That's where the power is. That's where when people say that if the results are not there, maybe the space to create those results are not there. So instead of thinking about what results do I want to produce, ask yourself this question: does my team, does my organization have the space to really produce those results? If you focus on the black text, right, you will obviously think about writing, drawing, everything which you can do with text. But if you focus on the space, you can do something which maybe you are not even thinking now. And maybe everything else, right, takes care of itself. All the black characters, all the words, paragraphs take care of itself. If you work on the space as a leader, you have people, you have teams who will work, who will fill it up, right? Who will satisfy your customers. As a leader, especially if you're leading a large company or any big team, your job is not to fill in the black characters or to correct the black characters. Your job is to create the space in which the perfect black characters, the perfect message, the perfect work can be executed. This is what the space of leadership means. And this is where all the magic resides.